So,
You got me? You recording?
well,
Okay. So, September 29th, 2013. No, September 29th, 2016. Let me correct that. So, September 29th of 2016 is when I met Timothy. I met him at Full Gospel with his cousin Danielle and her little son Isaiah that was in the car seat. Before I even met Timothy, I ended up meeting Danielle and her baby. So, after I met Danielle and her baby, I asked Danielle, did she have a godmother for her son? She told me, yeah. And she was like, but I could still be the godmother of her son. So I took the role of being Isaiah's godmother. And I started doing his hair, Daniel's hair, and his mom's hair. And I also, when their mama needed a break, I started taking them to church with me and to my mother's house. And while I was in foster care, I even brought them to my foster parent house with me. And my foster parent and my real mama treated them with nothing but love and respect. They helped me out with diapers and clothes for them and gave the kids a nice bath and made sure they ate and everything. And they had fun. After I brought the kids back to to Timothy's cousin's house where their mother was, I end up coming back to Full Gospel. And then after I stopped going to Full Gospel, which is the church, after I stopped going there, because I started going there with my cousin, Dania. I forgot my cousin's name because it's been so long. She introduced me to Full Gospel, and that's why I met Timothy at. I seen Timothy when he was at the church with his cousin, and he was bald head. He had no hair on his head, and he was looking real decent and he was smelling real nice. And I guess we both he kept on like looking at me, and every time I look up, he'll look away, and he kept on smiling and things like that. And then I had met Tiffany, which is the lady of the church. I met Tiffany, and once I had met her, and she noticed that me and Timothy was getting a little bit close to each other. She didn't want me to sit next to Timothy or whatever like that, and she kept on telling us to separate from each other. And I guess at that last time before I met Timothy, ended up meeting me and Sierra. I didn't know that those were his twin nieces. So they told me that they went to school with my baby sister Moesha. So I instantly got cool with them. And then I came to Full Gospel every day to watch the praise dance and things like that. So after I met everybody at the church and everything was going good and everything. Brought Timothy over to my grandma's house so he could get to meet my grandma and my dad. Everything went good. My dad accepted him, my grandma accepted him. Brought him over to my mom's house. My mom accepted him. And so did all of my family accepted him. We was very happy. Until he started cheating on me and being abusive to me. When we first got our crib, April 1st of 2016, after we moved out his cousin's house, after I paid the rent at his cousin's house to allow me to lay my head there, his cousin, Big Dina, she took my money before his cousin passed away. She was taking my money and wouldn't give me all my money. And before we left out the hospital room, Cynthia asked me, can he can he see my money? And I said, why? And he was like, so I can count it for you. And I was like, I already count my money. And Timothy, I gave it to him. He was like, my cousin give you all your money. And I said, what you mean? She didn't give me all my money. He was like, she didn't give you all your money. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, do what's in your heart. So I did what was in my heart. And I had my grandma I called my grandma, and she came and got me from the hospital where we were. And she took me downtown, me, my grandma, and Timothy. She took me downtown, and me, Timothy, and my grandma went inside the building. And I told the people what had happened. And they asked me, do I pay my own cell phone bill? And I said yes. And the man had told me, he was like, you know what? He was like, why you gotta pay E? And I said, I don't know. Only thing I know is I was living with my sister in Purdue, Kentucky. And my sister probably had lied to the people and told them that I wasn't capable of taking care of myself and that I couldn't budget my money. And she ended up lying. So I had moved her from being my payee. And Timothy told me, if you want somebody to be your payee, just make my cousin your payee. She won't take nothing from you. So I trusted him, and I listened to him. And and during that time, she let me into her home. After she told me all I had to do was pay the rent, help her out with the rent. So that's exactly what I did. After I came back from Purdue, Kentucky, I was not looking for Timothy to come and get me. I was actually waiting on my grandma to come and get me because I already knew Timothy was cheating on me the whole entire time I was at Purdue, Kentucky. So I was not waiting on Timothy to come and get me from the bus station. But he ended up showing up, and he ended up getting my suitcase off the bus or whatever. And he told me before I came to Gary, he told me that he had a surprise for me, which was he told me he had a house for us. And when he took me to this house, he didn't tell me that he didn't pay for the house. He wanted me to pay for the house that he was supposed to surprise me with. And then he was going to leave me in that house by myself. So I told him I didn't want that house, and I was outside sitting in the van, sitting in the van while Timothy did what he did. So once we did get the place, I wasn't comfortable. I was scared every day. Because I thought that something was gonna happen to me. But it ended up being okay because I wasn't by myself. Since he was with me every day, even he was with me on my birthday where we was eating ice cream and cake and things and watching movies and stuff like that. Even my sister and her boyfriend came and stayed with us, and we had a good old time with my baby mama. And then I didn't find out that I was pregnant until later on. And when I found out that I was pregnant, my doctor had told me and Timothy, because Timothy came to the hospital after I was miscarrying at home. I miscarried at home, and the doctor found my baby heartbeat or whatever like that, and my doctor told us that we couldn't have no intercourse, no fingers down there or anything like that, because my baby still had a heartbeat and everything. And then Timothy was cheating on me, and I was stressed out, wasn't eating, wasn't drinking. I was just like confused. And the next day, Timothy, he had came home, and he told me that he had to go to work. So I'm thinking that Timothy was going to work, and the whole time he went to his ex-girlfriend's house that he supposed to left for me, and he was cheating on me. I kept calling his phone, and some girl picked up and was like, "Can you stop calling my man phone? You interrupt us having sex or whatever like that." So I ended up stopped calling, and when he came back, I ended up moving out the apartment with him, and I ended up at my other best friend Marquita Nelson house, and I stayed over there overnight, and until I felt like it's gonna get better. Um, when I came back after he was crying on social media and begging for me to come back, I ended up forgiving him. But in the midst of why I thought that I was forgiving him, I was still getting cheated on. His cousin, before she passed away, Ben told me that it, that I needed to break up with him a long time ago. And I was young. Didn't know no better. Was trying to find love in all the different kind of ways. And I knew he was older than me, and that's the reason why his family told me that I wasn't capable of being with him because he was older than me. And I wish I should have listened, because if I would have had listened, I wouldn't be in this situation. But I'm learning from my mistakes that I put myself in, and I was abused. I was abused in my whole relationship and my whole marriage, trying to be faithful to somebody that I thought that was being faithful and loyal to me. And the whole time he wasn't faithful and loyal to me. So while he was out cheating on me, I was outside in front of our house where our landlord car was at. I was outside where our landlord car and stuff was at. And I was on the phone talking to one of my family members, and come and find out, I didn't know that my high school sweetheart lived in the area. And I asked him, said, "What you doing out here?" And he said, "I live out here." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then that's when he was like, "Can I come in?" And I was like, I don't know, my boyfriend not here." And he was like, "Oh, that's cool. We ain't gonna do nothing but just, chop it up, just chop it up, so that way, we can get back to, where we used to be." And I was like, "Okay, what we chopping up?" And he was like, it was a lot I wanted to say to you, when we was in school, but I didn't get a chance to say to you. So I was wondering if we can just, go in the house and chop it up. And I said, "Okay, my sister and her boyfriend here, so you ain't got to worry about nothing like that." I said, "We ain't have no sex or nothing like that. We won't be kissing or nothing like that." So we was in the room while my sister was in the living room sleeping, and they was cleaning up the living room. And the whole time that me and my high school sweetheart that I went to school with, I let him come over, and we was in my room. Sitting on the bed. We was talking. Didn't know that he was gonna kiss me. He ended up kissing me, or whatever like that, and he ended up like cracking the door. He closed the door with his feet, but the door wasn't all the way closed. He cracked it, and then that's when my sister and I said I had sex with my high school sweetheart, and then she ended up lying until she ended up believing her. So, when he believed her, we started to argue even more, and then Cynthia started to fight me over the house keys. So after all that stuff had happened, my cousin ended up calling me and was like, "Cousin, you want to come down here with me and my kids, so that way you can have a better life, and maybe y'all can come down here and fix y'all marriage or whatever like that." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm tired of Gary," or whatever like that. So I asked him if he wanted to come or whatever. He said, "Yeah." I ended up paying all my money towards bringing us up here, including the food and things like that. So when we came up here, I'm thinking that we was coming to better our life and better our marriage. And the whole time, it wasn't that. He came up here just for a job opportunity and left me high and dry. So after we went to the shelter and Timothy leaving me in the shelter and stuff like that by myself with no food, no nothing. And he ended up leaving me with my cousin on the train track in the shelter by myself, at the movies, at my cousin's house by myself. Um, he left the shelter without making sure I had a safe place to go while he was at work. Because we had to get out the shelter at 9 o'clock in the morning. I had nowhere to go, and I was so scared. And I was searching for safe places to sit at so nothing would happen to me. And then I was walking through the Skyway. I ended up going to these stores, and I ended up buying me stuff out the store. And then I ended up messing with this person that I had went to school with named William, or whatever like that. While Timothy was messing with other people while we was in church, and he was giving the girls the time of the day. So I felt disrespected, so I did what I had to do. So after it had happened, came back to the shelter when it was time to go in, and then after I came back to the shelter, the next day it repeated. But at that time I didn't mess with nobody. I ended up staying to myself. And then after that, Timothy ended up working with these people to get housing or whatever like that. And then he didn't tell them that he was married. He ended up lying saying he was single just to get the place, and he was gonna end up getting a place by himself and leaving me in a shelter. And then he turned around and he told them that he was married, so he had to redo the application all over again. And then that's how we ended up getting the place. We got the place, and things still wasn't going right. I was left in the house every day, every night, and it just wasn't what I thought it was. So after his cousin did what she did, we ended up moving out the apartment. We didn't get evicted or nothing like that.
Yep.
We ended up going to the hotel with my cousin, different hotels. My cousin was taking me out to eat and things like that. Even though I didn't want her to do that because I didn't have no money, she ended up doing it anyway. I ended up spending the night at my cousin's house for a whole week. Then we ended up staying with my cousin until my brother found out where I was. And then we went and stayed with my brother for a day. And that's how he put us back in the shelter. We was on our own. We was on our own ever since. My brother ended up putting phones to my name and selling them to the people. So I had to pay that off with my Social Security in order for us to get another crib. We ended up getting another crib. Things didn't work out in that place. Timothy was always fighting me up in that place until I learned how to take up for myself. He ended up giving me chlamydia. We moved here. He was fighting me in this hotel. we ended up messing around. He he went down on me and he put things in me, and I ended up catching HPV. Um, and then now I ended up with food virus because Timothy gave me some food from his job that wasn't all the way cooked. So yes, I'm taking medication for that. Timothy ended up lying to his family saying that he didn't know that I was pregnant. And the whole time he was in the hospital with me, I let him answer any question that he wanted to know about me. And they told him I was 3 months pregnant. And after that, they sent us home. We had walked from the hospital. We got home probably around 12 at night. Um, and then when I did fully miscarry, then left me at home and went to work. And I told him that I was in pain. And he told me to call the ambulance. The ambulance came and got me. And our landlord, Sam, had asked me whether I was okay when the paramedics was there. And I couldn't hardly talk to him because I was in so much pain. And when Tim came to the hospital, they told him that I miscarried. And he never shared no tears or anything for our kids. And then he let his family dog me out, try to dog me out on social media. And they try to play up in my face and say I was playing favoritism with Isaiah and Daniel. And the whole time I heard both of them. I never was playing favoritism with them. I always showed both of them love, including Danielle. I never mistreated them in any kind of way until Danielle ended up lying about everything. So of course I was into it with all the sisters except for Laura. I hated the way that Timothy and Pauline and them treated Danielle. I hated that. So I took her up under my wings and loved on her and her baby. Um, yeah, it's just so much that had happened, and I regret it. And now Timothy said he won't out the relationship, so now I'm about to let him out so everybody can be happy. And that's the end.
I apologize for everything I did for her, to her, and everything else. I mean, I didn't want this to happen. I don't want her to let me out. I don't want her to let me go. I will try to do the best that I can do and everything. And that's how I feel. I feel that I was wrong. I was not doing what I was supposed to do. With me, I just didn't know how to love or talk to anybody about my feelings or about what I'm going through. Because every time I talk to somebody, what I go through and stuff like that, it either get broadcast or it's a laughing matter to people. So I really don't say anything what's going on with me or with what my head is going through, because everybody thinks it's a laughing matter or people just don't care. But I just say that I'm wrong for the way I treated you, Diana.
You beat the shit out of me when I did do that to you. You told me the only reason why you was putting your hands on me is because what you went through with your ex-girlfriend. and it was the right what you did to me.
I was wrong for what I did to you. Yeah, my past relationships, I was used, mentally abused, physically abused, and I'm not trying to be in that type of relationships like that. So I never knew how to love anybody. So I mean, I thought I'd just get with him, dislike him and stuff like that, but that ain't the case. There's a lot more to things like that. But I'm sorry that if I took you on this roller coaster. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I wasn't a nice person at all. So this is our life story, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry and that thing. Next time I can tell you how I feel, which you probably won't care. So anything else?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to forgive. I don't know if I could ever move on from this. I haven't been happy in a long time. I divorced Timothy because of Social Security. Ever since then, I've been treated like shit. I've been treated like shit. I've been disrespected. I've been abused. I got stolen. All my stuff, all my money got stolen. Every time I try to trust him, he steals from me. Every time I try to trust him, he had naked women in his phone, said that they his cousin. Every time I turn my back or every time I look over, it's always something that he's doing. He always doing applications on his phone without me knowing, talking to people that's supposed to be helping him with stuff. He'll let me know what's going on. He be making his own decisions without letting me know what's going on. He don't check up on me when he gone. He don't call me. He don't really do nothing. Anything I ask, he get mad. I ask him to give me some water or can he give me something to eat, he get mad. If I ask him, can you help me clean up, he get mad. Any little thing I ask him to do as a man, he get mad. So at this very point, I just don't know what to do at this moment. And I'm not getting back at nobody. But I deal with my own problems. I work with so many people now. And I don't know where we go from here.
Like I said, I do apologize. And I just hope that in time you'll forgive me.